I, I
This
am,
meeting is being recorded.
I am Dr. Julia Jones, Faculty Development Specialist at the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. And with me, my co-host is
Dr. Justin Zephyrin, also the Faculty Development Specialist at the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. All right, and we welcome you here. We welcome you to this, this interactive session. It's definitely going to be hands-on. We want to hear from you. And I think, Dr. Jones, they're in for a good time, you know.
Oh, definitely. We're very interactive.
Yes.
We have lots of fun. We want to hear your voice throughout the workshop, the activities in which we invite you to be engaged, to participate throughout. But before we go on, we're not here alone. We're supported by some very important colleagues.
Yes, we do have our producer for this afternoon's proceedings, Mr. Javed Mohammed. All right, he's the e-learning support specialist at the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. And we also have Mr. Randy Duku, who's also here supporting us. I guess, Randy, you could just say a hi as well. Even though you're working in the background, I think we also have with us Miss Nisha Byron Holder.
Yes.
All right. And this session, guys, is in preparation for, it's ready to equip you for the assessment season that we're in and that we're going into further.
Definitely.
Because we do have final, like, end of semester exams coming up.
Exactly.
So this is a session, and it builds on what we did yesterday with managing exam questions and so on. And it really is designed to equip you in handling and managing and excelling in your assessments.
Yes, definitely. And to quote our director, Dr. Leroy Hill, he'll join us a little later on. He had another engagement.
Yes.
But to quote him, something he said earlier this week that was really important, that the Center for Teaching and Learning, Excellence in Teaching and Learning, has tended primarily to focus on the teaching side of things. But we recognize the absolute importance of also showcasing what our students are saying and doing and thinking, because teachers learn from students all the time. So your voice is as important as any other voice, maybe even more so.
Yes.
Because you are the people for whom we do what we do ultimately. So we just want to thank you all for joining as we get going.
Yes, so your voice matters. All right, so we want to hear from you. So let's get started. Let's get straight into it.
Yes.
So coping with assessment anxiety. What is this all about, Dr. Jones?
We'll see. We can go move on. Take a listen to this. Yes, and we would like to have their cameras on. If you're able to, we would really appreciate seeing you.
Sorry, but I'm not hearing the video.
What's that? Could you say that one more time, please?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm not hearing the video.
You're not hearing the video.
Okay.
All right. Well, it was just a welcome. Yeah, it was just a welcome to really sit back, relax, and really enjoy this experience. Like you said, it's going to be an interactive experience, and we're going to go straight into it. All right. So it was just an introductory video to kind of get you in the vibe. All right.
Yes. But before we go any further, this is an important disclaimer. This webinar cannot and does not contain medical, fitness, psychological, or health advice. The information is provided for general information purposes only and is not a substitute for professional advice.
Accordingly, before taking any actions based upon such information, we encourage you to consult with the appropriate professionals, and you can consult these professionals in, I think, is there any audio? Can you hear us? Yeah?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So additionally, you can consult the Department for Certain Support Services, Certain Support Services and Development. They otherwise known as the DSSD. They are the persons who will put you on to the necessary specialists wherever necessary. So whether it's in terms of counseling, whether it's in terms of medical advice or medical consultation and so on, they are the ones that will help you in this regard. I see we have a question or a hand raised from Cheyenne. Cheyenne, go right ahead.
Hi, I just
Hi.
wanted to know, will this be recorded by any chance? Because I didn't see.
Yes, it's being recorded. It's being recorded. And
Okay, great.
and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the recording as well. Even though it will be emailed to you, but you can join or subscribe to our YouTube channel in case you don't see that email. And you will see the recording there shortly after the session, once it's produced and processed. All right.
So
Okay,
moving
thank
on,
you.
You're
No
welcome,
problem.
Cheyenne, and thank you for that question. A very important one. So as we move along in this presentation, we have a lot to do and not that much time to do. 2 hours can fly. So we're pushing ahead as quickly as we can. We want you to look at this video. As you look at it, think about the whole concept of assessment anxiety. What do these movements represent in your mind?
What emotions do they trigger?
Precisely.
Feel free to type in the chat along the way.
I hope they're hearing the audio.
I hope so. No?
We're not hearing the audio from the video, only your voices.
Okay. But in terms of the movement, feel free to let us know what you are, what comes to mind by looking at this. You should be able to hear the sound now.
Still not hearing it, unfortunately.
Still not hearing it?
Yeah, we're seeing it though.
Okay. We'll get that fixed, but we'll continue nonetheless. You're getting it now? So we see some of the lights changing and the movement there. You can type in the chat and anything that comes to mind. If you even there's no wrong answer to this, huh? There's no wrong answer. Just tell us what you think. If you think it's a little too abstract, if you think it's confusing, if you think it's relaxing.
Or is it representative?
Yes.
Do you sometimes feel like this when exams come around?
Is this representative of the thoughts, the series of thoughts that go through your mind during or before an exam? Is it all linear like this, or is it more confusing or scattered as seen before in the same video? All right, so I see we have some comments here.
Yes. Like I'm going crazy, Kadisha. Yes, it does look like that, doesn't
Yes.
it?
Nice.
Any other comments?
It's scattered.
It's scattered, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to remember all of that. All when we met.
So much info.
Exactly.
TMI. A
All
lot
right.
more pressure.
Yes.
Cheyenne, yes.
Yes. And then we have Cheyenne, a lot more pressure, right? Pressure is pressure, or hashtag pressure. All right. Giovanni said the dancing being a bit much reminds me of overthinking.
Ah.
Giovanni, I could relate.
Oh yes, I think we all can.
Yeah. It's a lot.
We've been through the mill too.
True.
Many times around.
Right.
See the color of my hair?
Even at UE. So
yes.
we could identify and relate to your feelings right now.
Definitely.
All right, let's go on to the next video. Yeah.
Let's hope we have audio.
This is me when exams are over.
Someone said something about certainly what exam anxiety does not do.
Yes. So it's
So-
probably something you want to listen to before your
Yes.
exam or in preparation for your exam.
Yes.
To get you into that mood. Look, we have someone saying sometimes when there's no audio from a video being shared on Zoom, it may be okay. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you so much for
Is
that.
it Angel Gonzalez? Muchísimas gracias.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
And Ricardo, I hope you appreciate the free concert, right?
Can we ask some of our students, 2 or 3, to unmute their mics and share their thoughts?
Yes. So any thoughts on what we saw thus far? We saw one video, and we saw 2 videos. One with Happy and we were singing along, and the other one we saw had some
Intense.
movement and some was more intense.
Intense.
So what are your thoughts on the 2? How would you differentiate between the 2?
In relation to
Yes.
coping with exam anxiety. You can unmute your mic, put your hand up, show your hand, raise your hand, and we can hear what you have to say. Don't be shy.
Not all at once, no, just kidding. Okay, let's call some people. Ricardo, I was going to call you because I just saw your comment there. So let's start with Ricardo. What stood out to you with either of the videos as it pertains to examinations and your emotions and so on? You can use your mic. Okay, the last had a more relaxing tone. Did that one put a smile on your face? The first was all over the place. Right,
Yes.
right. Anybody else? Carol, I see we have Carol here.
I would say the first one is
Yes.
a representation of how I feel before exams and kind of in exams. And the second one is how I feel when it's all done and over.
We can empathize.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Who was that?
That was Carol.
Oh, thanks, Carol.
Khadija.
Khadija. Thank you, Khadija.
Carol, I see your mic is off. On, sorry.
Go right ahead.
Carol, well, I guess Carol is either nervous or
Maybe, do we have any?
She's anxious. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, listen to the happy song, Carol. All right.
Do we have any young men? Let's hear a guy.
Yeah.
One guy before we move on.
Yeah, I see we have a comment.
Yes.
The first was good. And this is from Shebeki. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. You said that the first was a good presentation of how I feel about deadlines and exams, due dates, the pressure, it's not a nice feeling. Like I said, like we said yesterday, assessment is, it's going to be some sort of challenge. Yeah, and it's meant to be that way. Yeah. But we want to present you with some more tips that would help you minimize that unnecessary stress. So you face a challenge, but it doesn't become as stressful.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So we thank you for those comments. We can move along now.
So
So we just did that.
Mhm.
And we asked if you suffer from exam anxiety, what goes through your mind?
Mhm.
How does it make you feel? And you wrote quickly in the Zoom chat to tell us about that. So thank you for sharing your experiences, your thoughts. Can we move along now?
And so, go ahead.
Yes. So now we want to look at what some of your peers say. And interestingly, when we were at that recent engagement
Yes.
event
Which-
that
yes.
the SSD had
Mhm.
organized for students, it was a kind of student fair.
Yes, a nice fair, and we got to meet students and so
Yes,
on.
and
yeah.
some of the students that we met had quite a lot to say about coping with exam
Yes.
anxiety. And we couldn't share all that they all said, but one or two of the comments really stood out.
Mhm.
And let me just take this opportunity to say a special thank you to Cherise.
Yes.
Cherise, you know who you are. I don't know if you're here, but you emailed me what some of your peers said and felt about and thought about exams
Mm,
and exam anxiety. And
Mhm.
they even gave some recommendations
yes.
concerning how to deal with exam anxiety or assessment anxiety.
Mhm.
So let's see what some of your peers said. Just 3 comments, a
Mhm.
few.
I blank out. One said I blank out. I feel like my whole future is weighing down on my shoulders. There's uncertainty.
Yes. Another said that he or she gets
Mhm.
palpitations, can't focus on
Mm.
studies. There's nervousness, feelings of inadequacy, frustration, feelings of saturation. I can't take anymore.
Right. And then there's another person said procrastination, last minute cramming, overwhelmed by a large volume of work, difficulty sleeping, binge eating.
I think I'm guilty of the last one.
And you know, some person said, and I remember I mentioned this in the session yesterday, when we met with
Yes.
students in the same event.
That
Some
the
additional
MCQ,
comments.
multiple
Yes.
choice, yes.
And in addition to some of these, some of them said they have a nervous breakdown during the exam. They were crying during the
Yes.
exam. Some persons fell asleep during the exam. So, and I think one student said that, you know, it's really stressful because they expect you to learn a whole 3 months of work in the space of just a couple of days. You know?
Believe I studying as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
working mom,
Mm-hmm.
studying part-time,
Right.
raced to campus for an
Wow.
exam, and I sat and my mind went completely blank.
Blank.
And my coping, well, feelings of panic arose, and then my coping mechanism was to remember a song my mother had taught me. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills from whence comes my help. And I
Yeah.
started to pray, and I took a few deep breaths and calmed down.
Mhm.
And the information came rushing back. I was relieved. But you know, the thing is, throughout the semester, I'd attended all of my classes.
The sun.
And I had done revision periodically. I remember I had a lecturer, a history lecturer, who used to say to us repeatedly, the laws of recency and frequency apply.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think once you know you've done the work, you've done the preparation, it makes it easier. It's just a matter to calm yourself. Just, you know, keep calm. What's he saying? Keep calm and know that you know. Right? You just have to
Yes, I love
trust,
that.
right? Trust the process. And because if you've done the work, then you just need to calm down a little bit. Look, Carol said, I slow down terribly and can't push. I zone out. Right. So Carol, this is during the exam, right?
Yes.
Carol also said positive refocus, like the sound helps. There you go.
Yes, definitely.
So praying, as you said, Juliet.
Yes.
And also,
some people meditate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or you listen to some good music like Happy, what we did just now.
Or go see a comedy.
And that's even in the preparation phase. And even just maybe the night before. You could even go and take a walk or run.
Yes. Nature.
You know, nature.
Nature relaxes
love
me
that.
tremendously.
Yeah.
A walk on the beach. A walk
Or you
through.
go and you binge watch a series on Netflix or Disney
Oh, yes,
Plus.
yes.
Right? Wet your plants, Carol said, wet your plants.
Yes,
at 9
definitely.
p.m.
Yes, yes, I've done that.
And I love dogs. So I will go and have a little time with my dogs and so on. All right. I don't know if anybody likes dogs here as well, but yeah, you do something to relax you, right?
Yes.
And then you go back into it.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Even on the morning of an exam, it helps if you just kind of take some time to focus, relax a little bit. Even when you're getting ready to come and do your exam, just make sure you are relaxed and you're not jittery and,
Yes,
nervous.
And
all right?
get there on time.
Yes.
Early.
Mhm.
Give yourself
Not too early, but
not too early,
early.
but early enough. So you're not racing in, because that
Exactly.
is what caused me to blank out.
You see?
I was traveling from work,
Mhm.
from the office,
Mhm.
and I skated in just at the, so yes.
Yeah.
So here are some recommendations, some suggestions that your peers gave to us.
Mhm. Do your light revision with a group of friends. Collaboration. And quiz each other. Make studying more studying for the exam more of a fun activity. And I could relate to that. Because sometimes you pose a question and you could do it for each other, or you just write the answer. Sometimes you could do it at a timed make it a timed activity.
Yes.
And so it helps you in completing or answering a question within the specified time that you are allotted. Coffee isn't a miracle drug that gets you prepared for an exam.
I love that. one.
Neither is anything with caffeine or
Or other drugs.
in fact, they do just the opposite, because
Yes.
especially if it's on an empty stomach,
yes.
caffeine and some of those beverages or stimulants make you more jittery. So just keep
Yes.
that in mind. All right. I don't want to call certain beverages because I know, but those beverages, whether it's energy drinks and so on.
Those can be dangerous.
Yeah, well,
but
true. I know
yes.
someone, I don't want to call specific drink, but sometimes you might make combined drinks, make a cocktail of
That's
drinks, so be
dangerous.
careful.
Yes.
Yeah, be careful.
Yes.
Another comment?
Another young man said to me, I got a strategy from my grandfather. He would read the question paper in the exam, then take a power nap to calm himself, then wake up, write the exam, and pass the exam. Now, we're not recommending that for everybody. One like me might not wake up until the next day, but that was interesting.
Yes, another person said, I don't know. Let me try and read it. I didn't hear the person say it, but I could try and.
Yes.
I don't know. To put it simply, I guess the best way to not be stressed out about an exam is to properly prepare for it. Quiz yourself.
Yes.
Do many presentations. Understand the concepts. Remember what we spoke about yesterday. This is a digression. Remember what we spoke about yesterday. All right. Quiz yourself. Understand it. Sometimes personalize it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Visualize it.
Ooh, all right. You're cooking with gas, All right. There are various study methods, but the one I found to be most effective is a
Pomodoro method.
Pomodoro method.
I wasn't familiar with that,
Yeah,
but I
for that
read
one.
it. I looked it up quickly, and I think it has something to do with if you study for 25 minutes, take 5-minute breaks in between.
That's the official
and
name of
after
it.
you do 4 25-minute sets, you then take a break for about 15 minutes, and then you keep going.
Yes, I didn't know that's the official name. I just knew it as.
I didn't either. So you see,
intervals. Look at
we
me.
learn from the
There you
students
go.
all the time. We are not the sole repositories of knowledge. Teachers aren't.
Speaking of
We
knowledge
all
and information, look what
construct
Carol is saying.
Yes.
Carol is saying high B vitamins. Once your doctor approves,
Yes.
helps to calm nerves without affecting your thought processes. One that has worked is.
Moving forward.
Okay, good. Another one is ashwagandha. That helps you deal with stress as well.
Ashwa, what?
Yeah,
something like
but that's
that.
a whole other thing altogether.
That police come knocking on your door for. I'm just feeling.
I know. Preparing well for an exam will boost your confidence, Ricardo. Yes, that is so true, Ricardo. And we know that hashtag confidence is everything, right? I mean, I need the knowledge too, but confidence is indeed important. And power naps.
I still have to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the power naps. I don't trust it. I don't trust them because it might start off as a nap and then it's a full-fledged bet.
That's what happened to me this morning, preparing for this seminar, this webinar.
Yeah, so just be mindful of that. But definitely, we're learning from each other. As Carol gave a suggestion there.
Thank you. Excellent suggestions.
Yes. And Carol is also saying it works once you sleep with books on your side. Yes. So you read, I think we were saying something like that yesterday, to read something and then you sleep soon after.
Okay.
And the brain has a process it goes through to sort of process it, and it stays in memory for a little longer.
Yes.
All right.
I
So-
would not be surprised if neuroscientists
Yes, yes,
support
it's
that.
proven. Yes,
It's
yes,
proven.
yes.
The body was made to move, you know,
Mhm,
and to
mhm.
take breaks and rest.
Come on now.
We were not made to go like Energizer bunnies, like I
Exactly.
foolishly thought in my younger days. I've learned the hard way.
Yes. All right. So thank you so
So,
much for that, for
thank
those
you.
suggestions.
So we want you to do another quick write. Write a simile or a metaphor or post even an image to describe or represent test anxiety. Quick write. You just have but a few seconds.
A couple seconds, yeah. In other words, how do you feel? You're writing a simile or metaphor or post an image to represent your feelings when facing exams.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we're waiting for the
Quick
comments.
talk.
Maybe we should put
TikTok.
the Jeopardy sound music. But that's anxiety right there. So you see they can slip it in, you see?
Yes,
Wow.
I did think of it, you know,
Yeah.
but I fell asleep.
You took a power nap, as was suggested by
That's
Cara,
what
right?
it was supposed to
Ah,
be.
there you go. You see?
A 4-hour power nap. Okay, the comments. Any comments yet? Any metaphor? Any image?
You
It
could
is
do a-
like a storm raging inside of you. Yes. Thank you, Christoph.
That's a good
Yes.
metaphor there.
Excellent.
And some strong words too, you know, it's raging
It's-
inside.
it's-
It's like
yes,
that tells me about frustration there, yeah?
yes.
Which we can
Emotions
identify.
are powerful.
Mhm.
My insides get like crabs in a barrel. Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate on that? You could share your mic if you want.
Shabaki? Is it
Mhm.
Shabaki?
Look, Ricardo said, cool as a cucumber. Well, Ricardo,
Ooh,
go ahead,
Insights-
Shabaki.
No, it's Shibiki.
Shabiki.
Shabiki.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's more of a state of unease, and I find it hard to concentrate, or I'm like, well, I'm looking at the clock, I'm checking my paper, I'm looking at the clock, I'm checking my paper, and
Mm,
it's not a nice feeling, especially
Yeah.
when I know time.
wow.
Thank you for sharing that.
Hmm. You know, I used to struggle with that too.
Mhm.
I think to this day, final exams, one of the things I disliked about final exams is that it's almost after a while I went in knowing that I will not finish the exam.
Oh,
Because you're watching the time, you're watching the question, you want to answer the question as best as possible by
yes.
putting all the information you could put into answering that question.
Yes.
And then you don't get to finish the exam.
Well,
you
I
know?
remember as a teenager in high school, I refused to attend a certain exam. And my father told me it was math. And I
Ooh.
said, he
Mhm.
said, young lady, do you think you'll get through life without it? I said,
Mhm.
yes, daddy, I'm absolutely certain I'll get through life. And then I landed a job in an accounts department.
Right.
And I had to go and do extra classes and all
There
of
you
that.
go.
I swallowed those words.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Jesus help me. All right.
Oh, yes. Amen, brother.
All right.
We understand.
Thanks so much for that, Carol.
So thank you.
And
So
let me see. We have
one more.
Oh, we have some images coming in now.
Oh,
Let's see.
lovely.
But the images can't be featured. But that's okay.
But they can see them
Yes,
in
they
the
can
chat.
see them.
So excellent depiction there. Representation.
I see Nisha is saying, oh,
Oh,
right.
Nisha.
Yeah, all these things going through your mind.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. And Gonzalez is saying, I think you're holding your head and you just
Yes.
so much going on.
You know what I just remembered? David
that?
Rudder's Calypso. This
Mhm.
is not a fetting here. This is madness. But you know,
Yes.
on a more serious note, I remember when I was doing my undergraduate studies, there was a young man who apparently was not coping well.
Oh.
And one day
Mm-hmm.
I heard it being reported
Mm-hmm.
that he was down in a manhole somewhere howling like a dog. So this thing is
Wow.
very
It's
serious.
serious,
It's
yeah.
very serious.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have coping mechanisms for dealing with stress.
Yes.
And the world in which we live today is so fraught with crisis after crisis
Mhm.
after crisis. When the pandemic hit, I heard about a very wealthy man in Italy
Right.
whose relatives all succumbed to the virus. He went
Wow.
to the top of one of his hotels and
And
jumped
jumped
off.
off. Yes, I remember reading
So
about that.
yeah, it's serious.
All right. We have one more comment.
One more
Sandra.
and then we'll move
Mhm.
on.
Like waiting to board a flight.
All right, we're not going to elaborate
Yeah, I
on
know.
that.
Yeah,
My mind went to a certain place.
exactly. Same here.
So now it's time for a brain break.
Mhm.
What is this brain break? Dr. Zafrin has been reminding us of the importance of taking breaks,
Yes.
the need to move our bodies.
Mhm.
So let's see what this brain break is like. And we are asking you to participate. Someone saying something?
I think so. I'm not too sure. Is that Sandra? All right. Okay, well, I mean, you can type it in the chat if your mic isn't working properly. So we have this song. So we have this song. I'm gonna try and play it. I'm not sure if you're gonna pick it up on but it's close to my mic, so you might pick it up. Some of you should know it. All right, one sec. Let's see. Anyone knows it from the lyrics you see there? Sandra's preparing to sing for us.
Are they hearing?
Yeah, they should hear from my mic. I think it just froze. That's all right. You're not hearing? Well, maybe we could sing it for them.
Maybe we can. I don't really know it.
Can you hear it now? It'll make you stronger. All right, maybe we could just sing it. Let's try. Yeah. All right, let's try and sing it then. All right. I think you guys would know this song. You're gonna take a shot at it. All right.
A quick
A
shot.
quick shot. All right. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So let's take a shot at it. You must know this song. You must know Hulk. Yeah. No, you don't know Hulk. Anyone know? Not just the character. Hulk as in the
Right?
yeah the song. Food and drinks, Ricardo. All right, so we're gonna come out the way and we're gonna put the lyrics on the screen and we're probably gonna take a shot at it. I don't know the entire
He
song.
will. I don't remember the
All right.
melody.
One,
Very
two,
well.
three, and because what don't kill you would make you stronger. My scientists like steroids, boy. I get my doses from all kinds of sources, and none of them kill me, no.
Being organized will kill my stress. Preparing early will simply do the rest. So, as the thoughts arise that I will fail, I say, not me. Success and I will blaze a trail. I will breathe and think positively.
Channel those thoughts.
Be confident and start studying early. That
Early.
stress will stop.
And let's go to the next slide. We know this part now. I feel like
Hulk.
Move any mountain and trample any building like Hulk. Man better than monster.
Structure, boy.
Randy singing Randy.
Yes.
So Randy is a guest performer in the song, in the concert, Ricardo.
So let's hear the trample them part.
Trample them, trample them, trample them.
Trample them, rip up that paper, boss up the exam, step on it.
Go ahead. But one more time. I feel like
Hulk.
Right.
Nice.
Move any mountain and
I know-
trample any building.
That sounds like Randy dancing while he's singing
I
that.
think so too.
So
That's-
I know many of you will probably sing it and just, have your mics off, but that's okay. You allowed us to do all the work. That's okay. All right. Let's go straight into it. All right. So
Okay.
go ahead.
So we thank you, Justin.
Mhm.
We looked at what some of your peers had to say about symptoms of anxiety that they experience, or emotions, anxious emotions, how they were feeling stressed, describing their stress. And some of your peers also shared with us suggestions, recommendations, things they do to help them cope. Let's look at what a psychologist has to say. Let's hope you hear.
If not, if we can probably let's look at, let's go to the next slide and we could probably share the link after, perhaps. What do you think?
If it's, well,
I
let's
think-
see if they hear it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a literal brain break.
Yes.
Just about a minute.
Take
And
some water, stretch.
we just wanted to see people
Supervision.
listening.
Yeah.
All right, take a brain break and a physical break at that. And just, Ricardo's laughing. Ricardo's having a lot of fun in this session. Stand up, go get some water, take a walk, look outside, and come back, because the eyes could only take, and the brain could only take so much
Yes.
on the screen. All right.
20.
Yes.
Yes.
And we'll come back in a couple of seconds.
Yes.
All right.
It's normal to feel a bit of anxiety about performing well on an exam. A bit of anxiety is not bad and can even help to boost your performance. However, when anxiety levels interfere with test performance, you'll want to do something about it.
So welcome back. I think everyone should be back from your water break or bathroom break by now. We want you to sit back and look at this video. that we found to be quite interesting and helpful.
Informative.
You'll tell us if you think the same.
It's normal to feel a bit of anxiety about performing well on an exam. A bit of anxiety is not bad and can even help to boost your performance. However, when anxiety levels interfere with test performance, you'll want to do something about it. One of the best ways to combat test anxiety is to make sure that you have properly studied. This means, in particular, that you've done a lot of self-testing to ensure that you have information in your long-term memory stores and that you're able to retrieve that information. We also strongly recommend that when you self-test, that you do so under conditions mimicking an actual exam. For example, you might time your self-tests and maybe even do it in a classroom. In this way, you normalize taking tests. If proper preparation isn't enough, you might look at each component of anxiety and manage one or more of these components. Anxiety has 4 different components: cognitive, emotional, physical, and behavioral. And you can reduce anxiety with various techniques to address each component. Here are a few tips from anxiety expert Ryan Jacoby. To manage the cognitive component of anxiety, consider what you're thinking when you're feeling anxious. The goal here is to identify errors in thinking. For example, if you're having thoughts like, "I better do well on this exam or else I'll never become a doctor," this is called catastrophizing, and that you're imagining an extreme and negative consequence to taking the exam. Use reason to fight against this. Remind yourself, for example, that one test will not make or break your career. To manage the emotional component of anxiety, you can use various distress tolerance techniques. An example is self-soothing. You can self-soothe by visualizing something that makes you feel good, listening to music or pleasurable sounds, smelling your favorite lotion or scented candle, tasting a delicious meal or beverage, or petting an animal or getting a hug. To manage the physical component of anxiety, you can use deep breathing exercises as well as progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense and then relax various muscles one at a time from head to toe. If you Google, you'll likely find many videos which can guide you through this procedure. The behavioral component of anxiety refers to coping behaviors. For example, you could use an active coping mechanism such as spending more time studying, as well as making sure that you get enough sleep, exercise, fluid, and nutrition. You could also, in limited amounts, use passive coping mechanisms which focus on managing your emotions. We've already mentioned self-soothing, but there are many more techniques such as learning how to do mindful meditation, a method which in part helps you to experience your emotions without being judgmental about them. A really great resource which can help guide you in managing the different components of anxiety is John Abramowitz's book, The Stress Less Workbook: Simple Strategies to Relieve Pressure, Manage Commitments, and Minimize Conflicts. On the other hand, if you'd like more than a self-help reference, consider seeking a therapist who practices cognitive behavioral therapy, in particular dialectical behavioral therapy. For more tips on managing anxiety, please see the relevant and recommended resources at the end of this video.
All right. Thank you so much. So that video was definitely helpful in identifying, the connection between anxiety and experiencing a catastrophe. Get it?
I missed that.
Yeah. All right. But there's a whole neuroscientific perspective or dimension to all of this. Remember,
Yes.
the brain and the body works differently under stress or anxiety. You have the stress hormones, cortisol, and so on. So these things kind of put your body into a certain state that is not, it makes it optimal for the body to function under stress, under pressure.
That is
but it's
true.
not sustainable.
Exactly.
All right. And therein lies the problem. So
Justin, a doctor told me recently that stress can take 10 years off of your lifespan.
Listen.
It's serious. It's serious. And we all want to live to a ripe old age. But then our time is going, so we want to move along.
Yes.
We have another activity planned for you. And there's a link that we are going to ask our colleague, Mr. Duku, to post in the chat that will take you to the Padlet, and just a couple seconds again,
Yeah.
30 seconds max, if you can fill in what you think, how you feel, and what have you learned so far in this webinar in the Padlet. Rapid fire,
Yeah.
quick write,
You can
quick
double click
write.
on the pub on the plus sign,
plus sign, yes.
and it should allow you to insert your 2 cents.
Let
as
us
it
know,
were.
please, if you're able to.
Mhm.
If not, we'll have to put contingency and talk it through.
Yeah, you could just write it in the chat. or
Yes,
something.
all right, it in the
All right.
chat.
So what did you think? How did you feel? What did you learn? Dum, 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 dum. No, just
Well, I was thinking, tick tock, tick tock.
I know, right?
tick
No pressure.
tock.
No pressure. Is everyone able to get through or access the Padlet page?
Let us know, please.
You click on the link. This page will open up, and you should be able to double click on the plus sign and insert your comments. I'm not sure if we. All right, so let's see we can go straight to the Padlet.
Yes. You can unmute your mic and let us
Right, so I
know
see a
what's
comment.
happening. Ah, yes.
Mhm.
People are commenting. Thank you very much.
So we have a couple comments, and you'll see it presented in just a bit. I think on the screen you should see it. But we have the one person said, I can prepare myself better for exams. All right. Another person says, feeling more confident. How do you feel? You feel more confident? Yeah.
Lovely. Keep those fingers typing. I can prepare myself better for
Mhm.
exams, feel more knowledgeable. Someone said, I learned that there are different anxiety types. Yes, definitely. Those different categories, physiological, cognitive, behavioral, emotional. Because the emphasis in today's webinar is socio-emotional wellness. Yesterday, you were very cognitive and you were being guided on how to ace those multiple choice questions.
Yes.
Today, we're focusing on your emotions. We're not forgetting the cognitive,
Mhm.
but how you feel when you're stressed affects how you think.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and how you process.
And it also affects the physiological part too.
Precisely. Some people break
Mhm.
into cold sweats.
And you know, and this builds on what we did yesterday. So it's another dimension. We focus on the
Precisely.
cognitive and so on yesterday.
Yes.
And now we're focusing on the emotional,
The
psychological,
behavioral, psychological, physiological.
Mhm.
Someone else said this session reiterated the importance of preparation,
Mhm.
which Dr. Zephyrin stressed many
Yes.
times yesterday. And failing to prepare is like preparing to fail. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah. You know, I learned I guess I don't know what you call it, something many years ago. And I call it the 5 Ps. And
Interesting.
yeah, the 5 Ps. And I think it went something along the lines of proper preparation prevents poor performance.
That's a lovely tongue twister.
Yeah. I learned that many years ago. And it's something that I try to use all the time in
Could
everything.
you repeat that, please?
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Performance.
So 5
Excellent.
Ps.
Excellent.
I wasn't good at maths, but I could count to 5. Right? So
that was excellent.
right. So proper preparation prevents poor performance. So you could take that and apply it to your exam preparations, and therefore reduce the stress, the anxiety that you experience. Yeah.
That reminds me of a tongue twister I learned in choir. Poor Pauline painting purple paper. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah. Try and say it 5 times very quickly.
Try
But
and
anyway.
sing it.
What did I learn? Someone said, another thing someone said, I learned that there are different anxiety types.
Yes.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
So are there any more comments in the Padlet?
Let's see.
Maybe one or two more, and then we can move along.
I think someone said, I can prepare myself better for exams. That's really good. What did I think?
Definitely.
Yes, I can prepare myself better for exams. I feel a bit more confident, and of
Two
course,
persons, yes.
yes, and I think persons are still
Yes.
typing from what I'm seeing. I don't
Oh,
know
yes.
if you could
Okay.
refresh your page and
That's great. Oh, yes. Persons are still typing. Thank you.
refreshing to hear the new methods. Yes.
Definitely. Thank you for these comments. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for sharing your experiences
I like
and
that.
your emotions.
I like that Cherise said, watching or listening to motivational stuff helps me get into a mindset. That
Yes,
is true.
definitely.
That is true.
Definitely.
So for example, listening to the happy song sets
And
us in a
Hulk.
mood and
And
Hulk.
Hulk.
Yeah. You feel you could do anything.
Yes.
I wish I knew that song when I was struggling with mathematics back in the day, but that's another
Same
story
here.
altogether.
Same
You
here.
know?
Remember,
Yeah.
I told you what I did. I eventually passed the math
Yeah, I did too.
at
After many
college
tries.
level, but I cried. I did cry.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
hardback woman cried.
All right. Okay, so let's move along now.
Yes.
And I want us to just kind of take a bit of think of a joke. I don't know what joke we could say as a breather. Now I'm just saying this because humor is also helpful in reducing stress. You know, it's almost like, think of it as polar opposites. You either laugh or you stress. You stress out. You either laugh or you stress out. So if you're under stress, it's always good to have a little laugh. I'm going to put somebody on the spot here. I know I'm going to put somebody on the spot here. But I wonder if if you can hear a joke, either from Mr. Mohammed or Dr. Hill. I don't know. A joke? All right, or Mr.
All right,
Buku.
I'll give you a joke.
You give us a joke?
I have one. Okay, good.
You go after Andy.
Go ahead.
If you'll think it funny, right? Think it funny.
That's all right. You go ahead.
Knock.
Who's there?
Anita.
Anita who?
Anita buy a pencil.
Oh.
That's from a 7-year-old.
Yeah, that's like what my grandson
I didn't
does
expect it
all the
as well.
time.
I didn't expect it as well. And those type of moments in your life just help reduce stress. So,
I
But
like
they're
that
not
one.
seeing you. Come let them see you.
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that one?
I like
Those
that.
moments really.
I think we could
De-stress
identify with
you.
that. I think everybody
Yes.
could identify because we all need something here, right? Whether it's stationery, a loaf of bread, you know, anything, we need something. I like that. Knock, knock, who's there? Anita. Anita who? Anita buy a bread. Anita buy, you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
We had one more.
I wouldn't suggest using it to your parents though. I just saying. So, but go ahead.
We had one more.
Randy?
Yeah,
Randy,
I
go
have
ahead.
one. Yes, I have one.
Hmm?
I have one. Tell me something. Why did a Spanish husband throw his wife over the cliff?
Oh my goodness, that's horrendous.
I will not answer to be safe, but no, just kidding.
She was moving like the people in the first video.
No,
Or
no,
she
no.
was. Okay, go ahead, Randy.
He wanted tequila.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my goodness. My cheekbones are
Yeah, you
itching.
understand? So you see, guys, this is how, you know, we could reduce stress. Find something to
Yes.
laugh at, whether it's a comedy series, if
Even
you're
socializing.
socializing.
We like to line.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
that
yeah.
we are encouraging you to line too much, too close to exam time.
Balance.
Balance.
Balance is
Yes.
key. All right. Okay, so I
We
think
can
maybe
move
that brain
on.
break is
Yes.
pretty
Thank
good, yeah.
you, Randy, for that. And
And
thank
Mr.
you,
Mohammed.
Javed.
Yes.
So now let's move on to examine, to explore what a researcher had to say. Now, this is true story, no lie. There was an actual young lady, a research study was conducted, and here is what we were able to learn from this researcher.
Yes. So we're going to get the score on that now. And remember, this is a true story, no lie.
Yes. So
All
this
right.
is a case study extracted from a case study about a young woman named Helen. And there's an article in the Journal of Psychology and Clinical Psychiatry. The citation comes at the end. We want you to just have a quick look at what the researcher shared.
So we could probably read it for them. So,
Yes.
a 28-year-old woman suffering from intense anxiety about university examinations. Interrupted her studies in chemistry. Now, first of all, that's the first piece of anxiety there, chemistry.
Yes.
I don't know, because I wasn't good at chemistry, guys.
Neither
So,
was I.
yeah. Right? For 4 years, managed to overcome her anxiety. Graduated, pursued further postgraduate studies, like many of you might do, after undergoing cognitive therapy.
Now, we remind you of our disclaimer at the beginning. We're not psychologists, but we're sharing information with you. That's based on research conducted.
And
so the goals of treatment for Helen were these: explaining the cognitive model using Helen's individual symptoms to illustrate how vicious circles maintain symptoms or vicious cycles. And teaching her, this is what the researcher did, the therapist, who's a trained psychologist, he taught her, or she taught her, I'm not sure about the gender, it's a strange name, taught her how to identify automatic thoughts. And I thought this could be useful to even myself and find alternatives. My granny always used to say, as a man thinks, so is he. Our thoughts are powerful. The battleground is the mind. There were two other goals, I believe, for Helen's treatment.
Just before we move further, if you go back a little bit, I think you said earlier that a specialist was able to work with her, the therapy.
Yes.
Now, if you are in need of any sort of therapy, there's no shame in that. That is actually, we commend you.
Excellent.
And the best place that you could go to get this therapy would be to first contact the DSSD, Department for Student Services and Development.
Yes.
And then the Health Services Unit.
Yes.
They have a whole battery of specialists, whether it's psychologists, psychiatrists, nurses, doctors, etc., who would further diagnose the whatever situation and be able to provide guidance and assistance in helping you through. And that's important. All right.
Yes. And it is important to maintaining one's mental health.
Yes, because it's about you.
Exactly.
All right. So no shame in that. So
moving on. Well, there are 2 goals. And we also learned from this study about Helen's dysfunctional assumptions and rules. Remember, we said the battle was in her mind.
Yes, yes. Let's just come out the way because I see we're blocking some of the text. So dysfunctional assumptions and rules are general beliefs which individuals hold about the world and themselves, which are said to make them prone to interpret specific situations in an excessively negative and dysfunctional fashion. In anxiety, most dysfunctional assumptions or beliefs revolve around issues of acceptance, competence, responsibility, control, and the symptoms of anxiety themselves.
So let's look at some of Helen's assumptions, some of her beliefs. She was telling herself, I am nothing unless I have a degree. I always have to please my family. I cannot cope with the exams. If I cannot cope with this, I can't cope with anything. I always have to do everything perfectly well. Otherwise, others will look down on me.
Or sometimes people might say, me and able.
Precisely. Local parlance says it all.
And I'm sure many of you could identify with some of those assumptions.
Negative assumptions. Yes.
Helen's previously mentioned beliefs gave rise to a number of automatic thoughts, as we see here. Basically feeling hopeless or cannot, you can't do anything to change the situation. Yeah. That not just hope, a feeling of hopelessness, but frustration.
Yes.
Because you're sick of sitting exams. You just can't function. You're tired and fed up, and you're over this, as we say.
Going to call it quits.
Yeah, So or even not just frustration and so on, but even you're feeling that you want to give up.
Yes.
And it's really cracking under the pressure. And we're not saying that's a good or bad thing, but what we're saying is that it is something that you have to be mindful of. And something natural feelings. It's okay to feel this way.
Yes.
When you're under stress, when you're under
Yes.
pressure.
And a little stress can be healthy.
Yeah.
Because it gets the adrenaline going
Mm-hmm.
to the point where you're ready to
Yes.
go.
Yes.
But if it's too much,
Exactly.
it can
could
be
So
crippling,
again,
debilitating.
balance.
Yes.
Now, the reason it's so important, Julia, to make sure
Mhm.
that you acknowledge these feelings
Yes.
is because we want to avoid something that we call cognitive dissonance.
Ah,
Right?
excellent.
So you don't want
Excellent,
to.
Dr. Zephyr.
So cognitive dissonance, for those of you who may be
Yes.
wondering, could anybody
Yes.
tell us what you think cognitive dissonance is? Let's look in the chat and see. Do we have any psychology majors here?
Ah, good question.
You can use your mic or you can type in the chat. All right. Cognitive dissonance. Or you can do a quick Google search and then say that you can explain it, and then that way, you look very accomplished.
They can also check out ChatGPT.
True, ChatGPT. Yes. So cognitive dissonance. So for those of you who may not know, and you might be typing it in the chat in the meantime, cognitive dissonance, to explain it in a layman's term, is really where there's a disconnect between what is actually going on and your awareness or your acknowledgement of it. So for example, you may be going through frustration, or you may be going through this challenge with exams and so on, but you don't want to really acknowledge it. You're kind of in denial almost, that if
Yes.
somebody asks you, Juliet, how are you going with maths? You're good?
I have that in the bag, man.
There you go, cognitive dissonance. Because
I don't want them to think I'm stupid.
there you go. So you see it could sneak up in several ways. All right. So you want to be mindful of that. So acknowledge the feelings, yes, but not in excess. All right. You want to address them.
Yes, definitely. That's a very powerful point you just made. That whole thing about pride.
Yes, definitely.
But we're dealing too with issues of self-efficacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do I have the ability to do it?
Yeah. You understand?
So Helen was experiencing that cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of distortions in her
Yes,
mind, in her
yes.
thinking about herself
Right.
and her ability to do and to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So those the researcher classified as main cognitive distortions.
Mm-hmm.
They were stimulus, generalization, catastrophizing. We know what catastrophes are.
Right, exactly.
And selective abstraction.
Right.
I suppose she put herself into a kind of virtual reality that was very unhealthy
Yes.
inside of the matrix of her mind.
The matrix.
So the range of stimuli, yes.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And these things impact how we perceive things, how we understand things, how we interpret things.
Precisely,
Yeah.
perception is
Yeah,
a
and how we
powerful
experience
thing.
it. Yeah.
Perception. So that she perceived the university as being dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Stressful.
Yes.
So that is something to be mindful of. All right. So you might think that this whole university is against you because of your exams experience. All right. So another thing is that all right. So the diagram that is coming up here that you're gonna see, it really shows the symptoms and right. So this particular graphic. All right. Let me just go.
Yes, we could probably go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that it shows the vicious cycles that were
Mhm.
being created by that cognitive dissonance
Yes.
that perpetuated intense fear. And we know
Yes.
that fear can be very crippling.
Exactly.
She was avoidance maintains anxiety because it makes it difficult to learn that
Yeah.
the feared situation,
Mhm.
in this case exams, is not in fact dangerous.
No, sometimes you just have to face it.
Like how?
Yeah. Like, yeah. Right. Another important thing is, to about your thoughts.
Yes.
And for example, about the meaning and symptoms of anxiety. It's good to be aware of that, not so?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And rather than simply copping out and saying my brain isn't functioning properly and I will fail and never be able to finish university and losing confidence,
Right.
is self-defeating.
Yes.
It's self-defeating. Life is too short to be making oneself miserable. I've
Exactly.
lived long enough on planet Earth to realize that. I came to that realization a couple of years ago and have not changed my perception of life since.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
You know, and I'm gonna ask everyone this question. Have you, this third point here, have you ever encountered this when you, or a situation where you might be reading a lot of things and it's not sticking, you're not retaining it, all right, because you're under stress and you're cramming and so on. And then you realize that it's not sticking. The math's not seeming to match.
Yes.
All right. And then what you will have to do is it's almost like you would say your brain not functioning properly. But this is where we suggested that you might take a little nap or a little, you know, a break, go outside, get some fresh air, and let the brain consolidate things. Give the brain a breather, like what we did, a brain break.
Creativity works like that too.
Listen,
Some of the scholars say.
Right. And so this was just a little tip as we're talking about this third point, where you think that your brain doesn't function properly, or anticipated consequences, you're worrying.
Yes. And the term self-fulfilling prophecy comes to mind.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So you tend to lose confidence.
Yes.
But this is what this graphic is all about. You know, the psychological, the behavioral, the physiological, you know,
symptoms and reactions, headache, insomnia, stomachache.
Yes.
Avoidance, withdrawing from studying altogether.
It's serious, you know. You remember when I think we had a conversation about this in preparation, either for this session or some other conversation.
Yes.
After our course of study, our sleep patterns were almost off.
Mine still are.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Sleeping early is no longer, you know, it throws off your sleep pattern.
You're beating book 2 to 6 every day for years on end.
Right. So the struggle is real.
Yes.
Literally.
Subjective. I can't cope. I can't control this matter. You know? So lowered confidence and, as you say, frustration.
Yes.
Now, the researchers using this cognitive behavioral therapy or the cognitive approach to the therapy for Helen, came up with some strategies. They called it the TikTok technique.
Right.
Where she couldn't study because of the negative cognition she had concerning studying in university. So the therapist focused on task-inhibited cognitions. What were her thinking patterns? And educated Helen to be able to monitor, think about her thinking. We talk about metacognition. And challenge these dysfunctional cognitions and substitute them with task-oriented cognitions. So she was able to move from task-inhibited cognitions to task-oriented cognitions.
Right.
Thus, her automatic thought, which previously was, I'm not going to make it, was substituted with, if I, and hear this, as you say, hashtag, if I do not try, I have no possibility of succeeding better. You know that old saying, better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all, because it's in the trying that you learn to succeed.
And by not trying, you cheat yourself. You can't
exactly.
You know?
And if I do try, though I have at least some possibilities if I try.
You know, it's like what we spoke about yesterday with missing exam questions altogether. You
yourself the marks. Talk about that, precisely.
So always try to answer the question, yes. Even give it a try.
Yes.
Give it your best shot.
Go brave, go help.
Or go home. All right, so behavioral and cognitive techniques used. A graded task assignment. So, you know, the aim of this particular technique, that in Helen's case, was really to maximize her chances for success. Through almost like you break it down to more manageable steps. So chunking, right? Giving smaller tasks And remember we spoke yesterday about when we're preparing for exams.
Yes,
You don't have to master it all in one day or in one
exactly.
shot. No, you take it bit by bit.
A few pages
Mhm.
each time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And then after a while, you become a master at it, or at least much better in it. Ricardo, you remember what you explained in yesterday's session with mathematics, not so? Yeah, where it was a little bit of a before, and then you, after practicing every day within 2 weeks, you were much better at it, not so? You can put a thumbs up or thumbs down if it's not true, but I remember you said it, so it's got to be a thumbs up. Is there anything, Ricardo, in that same subject or course or whatnot that you also struggle with, or anybody for that matter?
You can unmute your mic
Yeah.
and be brief, but we like to hear your voice.
So we have, let's see, we have Bernard, we have Cherise, we have Carol. No, it wasn't me. Okay, it wasn't you, Ricardo. Okay, my bad. So thumbs down, right? But I know somebody mentioned it yesterday, so thumbs up. I guess thumbs like this then. So I don't know.
Yes. So I suppose we can move along if
Yeah.
no one has a comment. Because there's a group activity coming up that that must get done.
Yes. And let's go back to the PowerPoint. And so we have behavioral and cognitive techniques used. All right. Did we go through this? I don't think we went
No,
through this.
we didn't.
Right.
So this simply talks about Helen being advised to write a daily record of her dysfunctional thoughts.
The document.
And she was
yeah.
giving them trouble, she didn't want to do any homework. They asked her when she got home, do it as if you have a journal and you're writing.
Yes.
And she resisted that
She was about
because
that
she was
life.
having problems concentrating.
Ooh.
That physiological
Mhm.
consequence of overstressing about university and
Right.
exams.
Have you ever been, guys, in a situation where you are so stressed out that you snap at people, or you can't really
Yes.
filter what you want to say? Things come out
Yes.
the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So of course that's a result of Ricardo. You said yes to that one, Ricardo. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that's definitely
Yes.
stress related.
So this is what her daily record looked like.
Mhm.
Situation, automatic thoughts,
Mhm.
emotions, rational response. So you have the negative on one side,
Right.
just like we saw in that first video, very negative, but the second
Heavy.
video with Pharrell was positive. It doesn't end on the negative, it ends on
Right.
the positive.
Yes.
So you can move on. You have this in a resource folder that we will share with you when you go into your groups. And this was the outcome of the study and of the intervention. Despite the difficulties in treatment, she wasn't doing any homework. The therapeutic results were quite impressive.
When she graduated, first things first.
After 5 months of
Yeah.
therapy, and we're not saying that you have to go into therapy for 5 months of people. Remember our disclaimer at the beginning.
Yeah.
But Helen was able to manage to decide whether she wanted to finish university or not.
So she went from not wanting to, or didn't think she could do it,
to actually making a deliberate decision to finish. You're already there. You've come so far.
yeah.
Why turn back now?
And on top of that, she pursued postgraduate studies.
Precisely. I think she ended up with 2 master's
There you-
degrees or something.
So she bright.
The woman was bright, but the stress, the exam stress was just getting in the way.
Yeah,
And she
definitely.
learned how to conquer that. So what did ChatGPT say that bot have to say about exam anxiety? I think you have this in your resource folder as well, so we're not going to spend much time on it. But it's simply it's simply a repeat of a lot of the things that you and we, oh yes. So ChatGPT simply, the information simply emphasizes and reinforces what we've been talking about all along: preparation, positive self-talk, seeking support. I think there are 3 more points on the other slide. Time management, exercise.
There was a video on Sesame Street back in the day about that. I don't know how many people used to watch Sesame Street back in the day.
I did.
Something with
I
exercise.
loved it.
Let's all exercise. Exercise.
But that was in your time.
Yeah, so
I don't know that song.
all right, but these are different relaxation techniques
Yes.
that we can use, whether it's humor, whether it's exercise, whether it's just finding something to do that you enjoy.
Yes.
Even if it's cooking for some people, or I like to call it experimenting in the kitchen because it will always come out good.
Oh yeah, but we've sampled their experimentations and they were quite sumptuous. Well, so it's time now for practice. Let's pause and practice. You want to do very quickly a breathing exercise.
Yes.
All right. I want everyone, so please unmute your mics. It's going to sound like a cacophony, but that's quite okay. And I want you to repeat after me. Shh. Come, everybody, unmute now. All mics unmuted, please.
Thank you so much, Trent. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Right, excellent. And you will say shh. Repeat. And now you say right. And now we want you to place your hands at the base of your diaphragm beneath your ribs. This has to do with inhaling deeply. We tend to breathe in a very shallow way. Singers like my friend here knows all about this. So just press a little against the bottom of your rib cage where your diaphragm is located. All right? And keep it there and say shh. And are you feeling your diaphragm moving?
Yes. Yes.
Now we want you to quicken the pace repeatedly 5 times. Shh. 5 times. Ready? After 4, 3, 4. Right. Unfortunately for my colleague, Mr. Mohammed, he was far enough away from me not to get showered. All right. One more quick activity, breathing exercise. You inhale to the count of 10. Now you know where your diaphragm is, and you're not breathing up here. You're breathing from your diaphragm and filling, expanding your lungs with air.
Think of it like a balloon.
Exactly.
When you blow a balloon, it expands with air like a pear.
Exactly. And you're inhaling, taking sips of air and carrying that air deep down towards your diaphragm. And then you are exhaling to the count of 10. We'll just do it once in the interest of time. Ready? Go. As I count, you take sips of air in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you exhale to the count of 10. Little bits of air exhaling. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that actually slows down your heartbeat. There's a physiological reaction for deep breathing. All right. So
for many of you that might be suffering with stress-related insomnia, that is a good exercise. You know, when you might be getting problems to sleep, that's a good thing to do, a good exercise to do to relax you so you can fall asleep faster.
And even in an exam, if you feel the panic coming on, take deep breaths.
To mellow.
Yes. and calm your breathing. You feel your heart starting to beat slowly again. I've proven it to be true. And you know, I got COVID twice.
Right.
And when I was at the pulmonologist and I was doing a test, and I went into panic mode, and he had to remind me, he said, and it's something I knew. And he said, Julia, just breathe deeply. And I was fine. So remember that. So now we want you to click on the link. Our colleague, Mr. Duku, is going to put another link in the chat. It will take you to an exam stress action plan. And we want you to very quickly, it doesn't have to be more than one thing. You can complete it on your own at home. You have the link there, save the link. These are good strategies that we encourage you to use. And let's see what you come up with. Everyone clicking on the link, have you been able to access the link? Yes. And let's see what you have to say. One thing per person. What's stressing me out? What can I do about it? What should I do about it? And when can I do something about it? Excuse me, or when should I do this thing to mitigate the exam stress that I may have been experiencing? I see some people have started writing. Dr. Zephyrin?
Yes, definitely. And I was just going to say that this is a good approach to identify the challenge and to address it.
Yes.
Because that's really what it is. Look at the first column, what is stressing you out? So now you're not going to put people stressing you out.
Even though
Right?
that might be.
Even though people could stress you out. But if that's the case, what are you going to do about it? Are you
Yes.
going to minimize your interaction with those your interactions with those people? Is it something, let's say a TV show that is distracting you in some cases? Are you going to minimize that? Yeah. So take about a couple seconds just to identify what is stressing you out, what is bugging you as it were. You know, even if it's something about a particular course that you were or exam that you are preparing for, that might be stressing you out in most cases since it's exam stress.
Exactly.
All right. So
how much time? Maybe about just a minute or two?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we do have some time before the session ends at 3:30. All right. So
not much. There's another group activity.
True.
There is a group activity that has to be done.
So let's see what we have here. I have to read too much. Okay.
Yes.
You know, I take my time to read. I can't speed read.
Too.
Yeah,
Same here.
I could speed read, but I wouldn't retain it. I wouldn't remember what I just read.
Same here.
Yeah. And I see we have some other responses here. Look.
I try to learn every single chapter. So even that technique about chunking the material and condensing it, summarizing summary skills
and personalizing.
And even mnemonics, you mentioned it yesterday.
Yes.
And mind maps, creating mind maps out of the content.
Yes. You know what? Let me give you, while they're typing, one example I did. I'm sorry for laughing. It's just because I know somebody's gonna laugh at it. So we all know I didn't like mathematics back in the day. And you know, what was it, boy? Pythagoras' theorem. You remember that?
I remember that.
I think
don't ask me what it is.
But yeah, and don't ask me to even apply it now. What's the relevant? No, I know it's important, but I mean, in our field, it may not be as important, right? Or as relevant. But you know, I struggle to remember the formula and so on. What was it? Cosine, tangent, and all these other things. So a friend of mine, a couple of friends who also shared that dislike for mathematics, said, well, no, it's easy to remember, you know. It's just like this. Oh, heck, another hour of arithmetic or something to that effect. And I was like, talk about turning something bad into good, like, because I didn't like mathematics, I didn't like arithmetic.
Yeah.
And so that was really, I'm not sure if it was Pythagoras' theorem or some other something.
That's like music. Every good boy deserves fun. Good boys deserve fun always. The
yes,
the bass clef lines and FACE. Faith.
Food.
All
I know
right.
face, yes, I remember
And
that one.
I learned about the hurricane season. June too soon. July standby. It probably doesn't apply now with climate change. August commit must. I learned that in geography. August commit must. Subject. August commit must. September, remember October all over.
I learned that and I couldn't remember it.
Oh,
yeah, I know. So you good. I know it's snakes. I know we have biology majors here or whatnot. With the color of snakes, red and yellow, kill a fellow. So snakes that have red, like coral snakes, for example.
Yes.
So anyways, let's move on. What can I do about it? Focus more on important information. Remember the power of positive thinking.
Excellent.
When
5 P's, your 5
there
P's.
you go. You picked up with that. Good.
The Pomodoro, not Pompono.
But we understand what you mean.
You.
Yes. Read a little every day, chunking, and you learn more in the long run.
Thank you. And you can, even after the webinar, you can go on adding,
Continue.
yes, on the Google Doc. So let's move on. Now we have just a group task. Pomodoro, thank you for correcting it. Let's move on, please. No, we have to go back
All
to the
right.
group activity. Right.
Yes.
So what's the next slide? We can go on.
Mhm.
Go on.
I think that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
We will ask Mr. Duku to share the task for the group activity, and the group activity is simply this. We need to put them into breakout rooms, random breakout rooms. You have just 10 minutes to do this. 10 minutes to do this. How much time do we have remaining, please?
We have
Or
about
5 minutes.
no, we have a little bit of time. We have just
Oh,
about,
we have some time. Good. So we can give 10 minutes for the group activity.
Yes.
Then about each group will present for about do a 2-minute presentation.
Or a minute,
Or
2
minute
minutes, yeah.
or two. A lot can be said in a minute. And what you are doing, let us know if you receive the task. Is the link to the task sheet there in the chat?
I'm not seeing it yet.
So it will come up in a moment or two. What you're going to do is there's a task sheet, a task slip, and it details when you get into your breakout room, immediately assign a group leader, a recorder, a timekeeper, and a gatekeeper. The gatekeeper ensures that as many people as possible participate or contribute. You have a choice of different tools or types of activities, which can be useful strategies as well that you can employ for helping to reduce exam anxiety. Some of them are very useful, but we want you to be as creative as possible. And to, let's say you come up with a poem, a 4-line poem, a 4-line rap.
An extempo.
An extempo. Somebody might want to sing the chorus from Hulk. Somebody might want to do a quick storyboard.
Yeah.
Somebody might want
Draw
to
something.
draw something, take us through a 30-second visualization activity. So,
the link is in the chat.
The link is there.
And
thank you, Mr. Duku. So are the breakout rooms open now?
Just remember, everyone, make sure you click on the link in the chat. So you have that. So when you go into the breakout rooms,
yes,
you have it there to work on.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. We will leave you alone in the breakout room to
do the needful.
To do the needful. I almost said do your business.
Do
the needful. So thank you.
No problem. So Mr. Mohammed, we can go into the breakout groups now, and we should come back in about
10 minutes.
10 minutes. That's about that's about 3:20. All right.
Well, actually, let's say 8 minutes.
Okay, 8 minutes.
Because it won't take long with a lot of minds working on it.
Yes. So we can come back probably about just roughly 3:15.
Yes, 3:15.
And that should then after we'll just come back and present and then wrap up.
Each group takes a minute or two to present and we wrap up.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan, everyone. Just hit a thumbs up.
Have fun in your breakout rooms.
All right. So let's go.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
That's when.
Hi. I'm not too sure what we're doing because I left for a while and I just came back. So can you all update me?
All right, Khadija, they're just in a group activity, breakout groups. And so we're going to assign you to a group now. All right, so they'll brief you. Are you Santa already? Okay.
How many participants are there altogether? How many at the start? About 15?
Hmm.
We have 15?
I didn't see the participants. Just proposal. All right, welcome back, everyone. All right, and we are very excited. Microphone is on. All right, so we are very excited. I hope that wasn't a stressful experience activity for you. You get the play on words there. All right, so let's see what you've come up with. Let's go with group one. Group one.
Yes. The persons who were in room number 1.
Yes, room number 1. Could you identify yourself?
Your group leader.
I'm Sandra Hodge, and
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
hi. Yes, as I was saying to my other colleagues, I do not really get that anxiety kind of way. What will happen in my case if I have not read all that I'm supposed to read, I would probably feel a little bit guilty and try to cram, try to catch up as fast as I can. But as far as just worrying about stuff, whether I will pass or not, I don't really get into that.
I'm glad to hear that. What group were you in, and what mini
room number 1.
presentation do they have?
Group
Does
number
your
1
group have for us?
Well, the other members said basically the same, that they would pray or think about something positive.
I see.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. And just, can you give us one example of what positive thing they may think about, so the other persons can learn from it?
Okay, well, I like to sing. I know we did an exercise.
Okay.
So I would sing a positive song like, I've got confidence, God is gonna see me through, and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Nice. Very good. Thank you so much for that, group 1.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank
Group
you.
2, let's get straight into it. Any representative from group 2? Carol? Khadijah? Ricardo?
Yeah, we didn't get to finish.
That's all right.
Well, whatever you were
That's all
able
right.
to do is fine.
We don't expect perfection. Go ahead.
There wasn't much time.
We were trying to come up with a poem, but like I don't know if they have anything to add, but what I have so far is anxiety like a ton of bricks on my chest.
Yeah.
Should I panic? Should I hide? And that's basically it.
That's
All right.
an excellent start.
Yes. Could I tweak that last line so you at least you have the matching, the rhyming scheme? The first line was anxiety like a ton of bricks on your chest. And the second line is?
Should I panic? Should I hide?
Or should I rest?
We have a poet
right?
in the house.
So that could.
Thank you.
Yes.
Added another line.
He's a lyricist, by the way.
What was it? Tell them.
What was the line, Dr. Hill? Can you repeat it? Or in a friend.
I could confide.
I could confide.
Beautiful.
You can get through there.
We're all waxing poetic.
All right. Thank you so much for that, group 2.
Beautiful.
Let's go straight into group 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Group
Our
3.
time is almost spent.
Group 3. I think we only had Trent. Is that you? You're quiet because it's just you in that group. Is that why it's so quiet, Trent?
Trent is like Hulk. He can do it.
Trent, are you there? All right.
No.
Okay, that's okay. So, but thank you so much, everyone, for those innovations and suggestions and tips in dealing with assessment anxiety.
And do we have enough time, maybe a minute or two, to have persons unmute their mics and to just give us a little feedback about the webinar today? Yes. And while you are getting ready, gathering your thoughts on that, we invite you to click on the link as well and to complete the evaluation form before you leave Thank you.
So Mr. Duku will insert the link for the evaluation of the session. So you would give us some, we really want to know what resonated with you, what we did good, what we can improve on, and how we can, make things even better. All right. So thank you, Mr. Duku, for that. And so you can click on that link and you can have it there. And then you can also insert, maybe instead of just feedback, one thing that you learned in today's session.
Excellent.
It can be one word, two words. One thing that you learned in today's session. Oh, I see Ricardo has a raised hand. Ricardo, go right ahead, please. If you have any questions,
Thank you,
any questions or
Ricardo.
comments.
Hi, everyone. Good day.
Good day.
Hi.
Hi again.
Firstly, I just want to say thank you guys for all the work that you put into the presentation. It was really enjoyable and informative. So one of the things that I would take away, no problem. One of the things I took away was definitely 5 P's. So that's something I want to keep in mind as well and really prepare to do well.
Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for that,
Thank
Ricardo.
you.
Thank you so much for that. That means a lot. Anybody else? So you can use your mic.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Please
Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm not seeing where to put up the hand, but anyway,
That's all right.
I was very interested in seeing the case story about the case study on Helen.
Helen?
Yes.
Yes, because I have seen and heard of people who had nervous breakdown in college while they were studying.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things like folk tales about people put them like that because they're jealous and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
But it's very interesting to know that even sometimes it could be from the pressure of trying to live up to other people's expectations and all of that.
Precisely.
And
you're preaching.
and it's good to know that people can still have a comeback after even a breakdown like that, if they're just willing to seek help and take a break until they catch themselves again and go on and complete what they started and be successful. So that was a very positive thing that came out of this session.
Thank you for sharing that. And I remember I had done a minor in behavioral science way back when for my undergraduate degree. And I will never forget the lecturer telling us that there's a fine line between sanity and insanity. He said not enough sleep coupled with a lot of so much study that is and stress and anxiety coupled with poor diet and lack of exercise can tip someone over that line. So it was
and
a
that's
note
just the
of
psychological
caution.
side of
That's
it.
just the psychological, the physical, and the nervous breakdown that you just spoke about. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Good.
Hi.
Hi.
Justin.
Who is
I'm
it?
Sadia.
Sadia. Hi.
I came in late, but I would have assumed, I am assuming that the latter part of the presentation went very well. Yeah, because I came in late. So I came in late when you guys were talking about the tips and all of that, you know.
Yes.
But I find that the reason why I joined the workshop is because I needed to get some, you know, some hints. You know, I try to manage my anxiety levels as best as I could. But you know, when exam steps in, you know, everyone gets anxiety in different ways, I believe.
Yes.
You know, but as I was telling one of the ladies from the breaker room, I try to relax. And most times how I get anxiety is if I'm not prepared and I see a question and I'll be like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But usually I don't get that, right? Because I try to be prepared, you know? Yeah.
Excellent.
Try to be prepared. But honestly, since what's her name? I don't remember the last person who spoke. She spoke about, you know, trying to live up to people's expectation. And truth be told, in a nutshell, I was trying to do that at one point when I now started my degree, but then I realized that I was different.
Right.
You know, yeah, that I was, because I'm not well and that I not gonna get my degree in 3 years. You know, because when I started, my dad died. And I had so much struggles after that. And I'll be like, okay, You know,
Yes.
everybody reaches up the ladder differently because some people have somebody to pay while I have to work and pay. So
Exactly.
my story is different from somebody else. And
Yes.
I failed a lot, you know, because I work and I study. So, you know, work takes precedence. Because if I
Yes.
don't have the money, I can't pay for courses. I'm an international. I'm
And you know what?
Jamaican.
Yes.
I like what you mentioned there, Sadia, that sometimes stress, even though it's the main stress is about exams, it doesn't always have to be just about the exam. It might be different situations that are also going on in life that would trigger or cause that sort of stress and the stress responses to stress.
Exactly.
So I like that you mentioned, you made a very good point.
Yes.
So even though we are focusing on coping with exam anxiety, that's one side of it. But part of exam anxiety is also being able to
Different variables contributing to that.
Exactly. A lot of
Well,
factors.
I could speak for that because I have multiple medical conditions.
Yes.
Okay.
I
And
remember.
it's glad that I'm standing here now.
Yes.
But apart from that, like I'm always in pain. So when I'm in pain, I could tell you I can't concentrate.
Yes.
I don't sleep well. And it means that sitting is a problem for me. Sitting for long hours and to be concentrating and in pain, that is not easy. So I usually get my exam accommodations and I say bless the Lord for that, because sometimes I don't know when I'm not going to feel well.
Right.
You
But
know,
the
so a lot of
beautiful
variables
thing,
contribute to that.
yes, the beautiful thing about what you're sharing with us that I am inferring is that you haven't given up.
Yes.
And you have been succeeding.
I am a fighter. I don't give up easily. Even though the rocks are against me, I keep pressing.
That's the inner Hulk in you. You see what we're talking about?
So thank you.
And I like that you made mention that you went to these different avenues to get assistance.
Yes.
Yeah, the support that is needed.
And
so that is important. Thank you so much for that
So
as
I
well.
think we're out of time.
Yeah, we could probably wrap up now.
Yes, we're out of time.
All right.
Sadly, I was busting my tail to get here early.
But that's okay, Sadia. But
listen, the recording is going to be made available on our YouTube channel. And as I said earlier,
what's the YouTube channel? I don't know it.
Channel. I'm going to ask Mr. Mohammed or Mr. Duku to paste the link again for you in the chat.
Right. So I could.
What we recommend is that you subscribe to the channel. All right. So you'll get a notification every time a new video is posted. Even though we do things mainly for faculty, there are some principles that may be useful to you, whether it's in terms of tips on learning and how to navigate through the online environment, and those sorts of things. Even this session is being recorded. Yesterday's session is also there.
Well, I'm appreciative of
I think if you go to that link that we just placed.
Which one of them? I see 2 links posted here.
That's right. It's the same
last
link.
one.
It's
Yes.
the same link.
Oh, they posted it twice. Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
So I'll subscribe to it. I have it open, so I'll definitely subscribe.
Right.
And thank you very much, both of you.
You are most welcome.
And
that's why I love you.
Yes,
they always have stuff
you.
apart from academics, you know, where could be helpful. You know, you just have to just tune in.
Thank you. And on this note, we say thank you to all of you as well for staying with us, for joining, for participating, for also educating us.
Yes.
And we wish you all success moving forward.
And before we wrap up, just to say this session actually concludes what we have called our Teaching and Learning Week.
Yes.
Faculty Professional Development, but it's really Teaching and Learning Week. And so the first half of the week, we focused on faculty. So don't worry, your lecturers have also gotten some tips and some pointers on assessments. And of course, we did the session yesterday and today. All of them are on YouTube. So you can definitely go there and subscribe and look at the recordings. And but this concludes our Teaching and Learning Week. All right. I see we have our director, Dr. Hill, in the midst. I don't know if he wants to come and say something. I'm putting him on the spot. So you guys pray that he comes. So, so just to kind of wrap us up. Yeah.
I don't want to be the person to keep them from there. You know?
Okay. All right. So next time.
Yes.
So we can call it a day.
Yes. Bye.
Have a great afternoon, everyone.
And all success to you.
Yes. And you can do it.